The State Board of Education is looking at applications for 5 new charter schools in Texas, including one right here in Austin. So as outlined in the most recent article in the Texas Tribune, on Wednesday, Texas Education Agency Commissioner Mike Morath recommended that board members approve the opening of the 5 schools. The board will soon decide how to move forward with those applications. Alejandro Martinez Cabrera joins us now from the Trib. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here.
Okay, so members on the State Board of Education, they asked the various charter school representatives what they might provide that students can't get in other schools. How did they respond to that?
So each school described their own missions before the State Board of Education. Overall, the school said their focus would be on making STEM careers more accessible to their students, as well as placing an emphasis on literacy and entrepreneurship. For example, the Texas Girls School, which would open in Austin, said in its proposal that it would provide 3 STEM career and technical education programs, which would focus in areas like engineering, programming, and software development.
Okay, and you all spoke with the Texas Public Charter Schools Association, a spokesperson there who says there has really been a demand for public charter schools. What do we know about what could be driving that demand if we're seeing it?
So charter advocates have long argued that for some parents, traditional public schools aren't serving their children's needs. It's part of a broader movement to give parents other educational choices beyond traditional public schools. This movement really gained momentum after the pandemic, and charter advocates say that there are many parents whose needs aren't being met by public schools and who want to have more of a say in the quality of education their kids receive.
Okay, there are some concerns though, some frustrations. What frustrations are you hearing from teacher advocacy groups and public education advocates?
Yes, for public education advocates, the big thing has been that the Texas legislature did not increase funding for public schools in the last legislative session. And many public schools say they have been hurting. Across the state, they've been passing deficit budgets, cutting services. They're still suffering from a critical teacher shortage that's affecting the entire state. They say that if more charter schools open, they will continue losing more students. And since their funding depends on student attendance, they worry that more charter schools to compete with will mean that they will have even less money available to them.
Okay, and then lastly, what's the timeline on this application process and when could we see these schools open?
So that's not immediately clear. It's not clear when exactly the process will be completed, but the next step is for members of the State Board of Education to vote on the proposals that were presented to them tomorrow. So if they're approved, the applications would go back to the Texas Education Agency and they would do the final review and then they would be approved.
Okay, Alejandro from the Texas Tribune, thank you so much for joining us, for your insight and for your time.
A pleasure.
First warning weather with meteorologist Nick Bannon.
Sunshine and some scattered clouds out there as we